I watched her leave the house that evening, her heels clicking softly against the driveway. "It's just dinner with my boss," she said, smiling lightly, as if trying to convince both of us that it was no big deal. I forced a nod, a half-smile that didn't reach my eyes. Inside, a storm was brewing. We had been married for 8 years, and lately, it felt like we were living parallel lives rather than together. I remembered the mornings we used to share coffee at the small kitchen table, talking about dreams, plans, even the silliest little things that made us laugh. Now it felt like those mornings belonged to a different lifetime. I sat down in the quiet living room, staring at the muted TV. The words I wanted to say were heavy on my tongue. "I don't recognize this anymore." But instead I said nothing. I just let the silence sit between the ticking clock and the hum of the refrigerator. The more I thought about it, the more it became clear I was tired of pretending. Pretending that everything was fine when it wasn't. Pretending that a simple dinner could erase the distance that had grown between us. Pretending that I could hold on to something that had quietly slipped through my fingers. By the time she returned, I had made a decision. She stepped inside, brushing past me with a smile that felt both familiar and foreign. I took a deep breath. "We need to talk," I said softly, my voice steadier than I expected. She frowned slightly, sensing the weight behind my words. I looked at her, really looked at her, and I realized that love wasn't always enough to bridge the gaps we create with silence, distance, and unmet expectations. Sometimes, love means letting go before bitterness takes its place. "I can't do this anymore," I admitted. "I've tried, but I feel like we're just holding on to memories, not each other." Her eyes filled with tears, but she nodded. "I've felt it too," she whispered. And in that quiet moment, there was no anger. No blame, only a shared understanding that life moves forward, even when hearts break. That night, we didn't shout or argue. We simply held each other for a moment, acknowledging the love that had been. And then slowly we let it go. Divorce papers would come later. Legalities would follow, but the hardest part, emotional letting go, happened that evening. In the silent understanding between two people who once loved deeply. And as I watched her drive away again, I realized something profound. Endings hurt. Yes, but they also make room for new beginnings. I was minding my own future, sifting through the wreckage of my past to find the life I still wanted to live. It wasn't easy. It wasn't simple, but it was necessary.